Okay, good afternoon slash evening, everybody. Today I thought I would talk about one of my New Year's resolutions, which is to have my third novel hit the market this year. I'm talking about Warscribe, which is my first novel that's outside of Juniper Crescent and Hallow Terrace. It all started about 8 years ago when a friend dragged slash forced me to watch the movie 300, which, okay, yeah, it was a fine movie, but I made points afterwards like, you change a couple of things, it could have hit a wider demographic and been a better movie overall. And this guy was really frustrated by the idea and finally said, if you think you can do something better, do it. So I said, alright. Started playing with some ideas, and I'd share them with him as I threw the ideas together over the upcoming weeks, and it's like, okay, yeah, nope, there's definitely something to that. He didn't outright say that I had done something better than 300, only that, there's the potential there. So fast forward to 2012, and I heard about this website called National Novel Writers Month, NaNoWriMo, and okay, let's give that a shot. Why not? Why don't I go do Warscribe? So I blasted that out, and that was my first National Novel Writers Month success. And the story is of an ancient mythical society called the Warscribes. Helen, come here. Come here. Sorry, gotta break for a second. There's a Helen. Helen! Come on. It's me. Okay, yes. Is nobody listening to you or paying attention? Okay. I've been gone all day, and that means no one's loved her. So, there's this mythical society called the Warscribes, where when you mention a soldier, it refers to a two-person team of a berserker who does the aforesaid berserking, going into battle on a rampage, and then the scribe that takes him into, he or she, into this rage, out of the rage, is the on-field medic and counts kills. And they're known the world over. This is their profession. And when things start acting weird as far as the supernatural and preternatural creatures, all the cultures in the world are turning to the Warscribes and saying either you caused it or you're gonna fix it. Or you're gonna fix it. So okay, this isn't sitting right. They have to go figure out what's wrong and how to make it right. Which I like this most of all because I got to play with stereotypes. And I got to play with a lot of lesser known supernatural creatures. We all know about mermaids. We all know about minotaurs, centaurs, gnomes, trolls, goblins, what have you. But I fell in love with some of these lesser known mythical creatures like Puka, Leshy, Domovoy. All of these from Russian and Scandinavian tradition, and there's really remarkable creatures overall. And then let me play with some stereotypes. Like we think of the word necromancer. There's instantly a ghoulish figure in a mask shaking a rattle or a string of beads over a grave that he's about to bring someone back to life from. When more people in the world believe that death is not the terrible bad thing that it is, and almost find a sacredness to death. Now, I am not advocating for suicide in any way, shape, form, or fashion. All human life is valuable. But for a lot of faiths, death is as natural and sometimes as sacred an event as birth. It's part of the grand stream of mortality. And so why wouldn't there be a culture that honored it and revered it and used those ancestral powers, those ancestral ideas, to protect their nation? I love that idea. Was wonderful, and I have to thank my brother Isaac for helping me come up with this idea, just filling in some of the gaps behind the culture of these necromancers. I also got to play with ideas of automatons and machine-made monsters, because that's still a big, wide-open topic. It's not like how we view a lot of things nowadays, where it's most of a tapestry and there's a couple of loose ends. No, anything machine-made in fiction and media today have tons of open ends, tons of ideas where stuff can be reprogrammed, rethought of, until even the most noble and benevolent machine can turn out to be the most monstrous, and the most monstrous machine can have some of these ideals of good and purity behind them. So, what would that mean? What could that do? I also got to play around with vampires, because I hate most of how people view vampires nowadays. It's all, they're wonderful creatures. That's somehow some mystic ideal to be a blood-sucking immortal, when philosophy and a lot of religion actually tells you that for our current flawed state to become immortal would be to destroy happiness, would be the perpetuation of a great mistake, according to certain philosophers. So, what would it mean if someone actually did become immortal? What would it mean if they actually had to feast on the lifeblood of another creature? So, as I was developing this character of the Sicanto, which I pulled from the Esperanto word for dry or thirsty, he was bored. You couldn't tell him to have any loyalty. You couldn't tell him to have any allegiance or love or affection, because those were temporary. He had seen nations rise and fall. He had seen empires begin their conquest and then draw back to the annals of history and never to be seen again. So, as he takes on this mentor role, it is a completely unbiased mentor. If you succeed, cool. If not, it's not the first time that's happened. Instead, he collects the one thing that he believes is as immortal as he is, and that is knowledge. You pay in books, in records, in maps and timetables, and information. Therein is his power. He is sought the world over and sometimes believed as a legend for his library, some mythical figure that doesn't actually exist, for his knowledge and his library and his resources. So Warscribe is currently going through the editing phase. Last year for NaNoWriMo, I finished the first draft of Berserker, where the Warscribes have gone to this area and fixed whatever problem was causing this spiritual influx, and now they have to return home because their homeland's under attack. So, let me know what you think down in the comments. Tell me about cultures mythical fantasy elements that need a completely new design, and what you would do. But until then, peace out and have a great evening.